Well, hey, y'all. Happy Thursday. Welcome into the Rooted in Progress Dream Center.
Yes.
Y'all missed us or nah? Like, what's really good? We are back, and we're so happy to be back. I'm
Very
your
happy.
host, Deanne King. Terrence, you're
Yes,
back.
Yes, man. It's been a long time. It feels like it's
know.
been a long time. So
It does.
happy to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Happy that we're still here in the wake of Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, and Helene. How did you pan out? You weren't at work. I don't know what that
You
feels
do
like.
know this is live, right?
I know
Folks are
it
listening.
is. That's why I'm putting it out there.
Man, I worked
Yeah,
in
you
spirit.
weren't work.
I
You
worked
weren't
in
here.
spirit. So
Your family's good though?
Yeah, everyone's good. You know, the house is good. Lost power for several days. 4 years ago, I moved to Florida, and the first thing I purchased, other than a case of water, was a generator.
There you go.
So this is the first time I actually had to pull it out and put gas in it and use it.
Okay.
So man, it became real. Like you know,
Yeah.
I've moved here from Tennessee, so we are in Tornado Alley. I guess you could say that parts of it. But a hurricane is a different monster.
It's a different beast.
My goodness, I
I'm
mean,
from here,
6 hours of just hard wind and rain.
Yeah.
That just felt like it would never let up.
Right.
Like, okay, this is enough. So
It's scary,
it's very
especially
scary.
when your area just got hit. And like we were already feeling the effects from Helene, and then you're talking about Milton, and then we're talking about a direct hit
Yes.
with Milton. And
Yeah.
so the preparation, the response, thinking about recovery, everything, people having to work through it, from linemen to law enforcement
Yep.
to city and county and local officials, government officials, news folks, journalists, meteorologists, like disaster response officials, everybody. It's been a lot. It's
Yes.
been a lot. But we're here. We are all
Absolutely.
blessed.
Absolutely.
When you look at what some folks actually had to endure and go through, you realize like, okay, I'm okay.
Man, the word said, I won't complain.
Yeah.
And I did not. And as even though we were out power, it's people had it far worse than what I have. So, you know, saying that you're blessed is really, really a powerful thing.
Absolutely.
You know, so I met a guy across my subdivision, is part of the Alpert River, I guess that's how you say it. Yeah. So, I mean, they got 5 or 6 feet of water in their house. I met a guy who was smiling and basically said that, hey, man, I got my life. We got our lives. We could replace all this stuff. Yeah. And that kind of brought everything in perspective as to, man, I can't complain.
Right.
I won't complain.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we hope all the folks tuning in right now, if you're listening a little bit later, that's okay. But if you're tuning in with us live right now, let us know you're okay. Let us know what area, where you're watching from. And I want to jump right into this thing. We have some incredible guests in the building. We have Mayor Liz Alpert. She is the mayor of the city of Sarasota. We are so grateful to have you. And we have the man himself, Florida rapper, Tampa born and bred. He's an author, a community advocate, Mr. Tom G. We appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We always give our guests their flowers.
Yes,
Y'all are incredible.
Thank you.
Rooted in Progress wouldn't be here without you. Mayor Alpert, we're going to start with you. First and foremost, how you doing after everything?
You know, we're all a little weary down here.
Yeah.
It's just been, you know, nonstop for at least a month. And, you know, and I have to give a shout out to our staff at the city, the police department. Every man was on duty from the beginning of the hurricane till the end. All of our staff have been working round the clock. I mean, 7 days a week. Some of them staying at our emergency operations center, even though they might be worried about their own house or might have flooding.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Good. And I know right now there's a lot happening down in your area. So just give us a scope of where you are as it relates to relief, recovery, storm debris pickup, because I know that's still an ongoing issue. Where are we currently just in the city of Sarasota as a whole?
Yeah, storm debris pickup, unfortunately, I know people don't want to hear this, but it's going to take months. really, because it is just a huge, huge operation to uh, get all of this, people's lives basically that are on the side of the road. And then you add to it all of the vegetation now from Hurricane Milton that added to the debris that has to be picked up. But I mean, again, we're working really hard. We have contractors in place, but contractors are kind of scarce because so many parts of the country and so many parts of the state are experiencing and have experienced the same things. So everybody all up and down the Florida coast and in North Carolina, in Georgia, we all have a lot of recovery to do. So we are getting there, but there is a ton of stuff still out on the road. I was out at our St. Armand's Circle this morning. And they are just starting to try to recover there because we didn't have water service to them until a couple of days ago.
Right. Mayor, my question is to you and your staff and all the officials down there in Sarasota. Like, from a mental standpoint, how do you keep them motivated? What is it that because there's mental exhaustion, physical exhaustion just set in, but how do you keep these people hopeful and keep them going?
Well, again, I have to just give credit to the staff that we have. They're all devoted to Sarasota and devoted to their jobs, and they want to see Sarasota come back just like everybody else. So, I think it hasn't, we haven't had to motivate them all that much. We even had our finance department out cleaning up on St. Armand's Circle because everybody wants to see this happen as quickly as possible.
Mayor, you talk about St. Armand's Circle, and I immediately think about tourism. Sarasota, you say Sarasota, and you automatically think about tourism. When will the beaches reopen? What is our timeline looking like as far as even tourism? Are we saying no to Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas? What does that look like right now?
Certainly we hope people come back as soon as possible. The season starts after Thanksgiving generally. So I think we're hopeful that we should be able to have a lot of this done so that people can come back and still enjoy the community, because there's a lot of places still standing. Downtown Sarasota is fine. Most of the mainland is not it's not that bad, other than just a lot of trees and that sort of thing. So I think we'll get some tourists. I think it will cause some to say we're going to go somewhere else this year, but hopefully all of our snowbirds will come back and we'll still have the tourists come down and have a good season.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there, because you think about the impact on tourism. Tourism runs a lot of things, right?
It does.
And so the impact that it has there, I think right now, a lot of folks who were mainly hit and badly hit by one storm, both storms, it's the recovery and trying to find the funds to recover in general. And so I think a lot of people jump at FEMA, right? But we know FEMA is a hot mess right now. Calling FEMA, you on hold for 5 hours and things like that. Then I know the city of Sarasota is also under that 90-day deadline. So what's the plan as far as like working with FEMA and actually getting somewhere and making progress with FEMA in their relief efforts?
We so far, at least, we haven't had a huge problem with FEMA.
Okay.
I feel very confident that they will be there. What we do is, in terms of the city cleanup, we go ahead and expend the funds and then get reimbursement from FEMA later. Homeowners, it's a little more difficult, but they're working really hard to make sure that there are contacts for people locally. They've been in touch with us. I got a personal call from President Biden, Secretary Pete, the Vice President, Kamala Harris, Senator Rick Scott came and visited, Congressman Greg Steube this morning. I was meeting with Ashley Moody, our Attorney General, out on the circle. So everybody is really aware of what the needs are and are promising to be helpful. And President Biden gave me his phone number, so it's like,
oh, not you got President Biden's phone number. Can you text that to me? I have a few questions.
I was shaking.
Mayor, I see you over there flexing.
Shaking when I wrote it down because I couldn't believe it. I was glad I happened to pick up the phone.
Listen, the mayor just flexed on us, guys.
She really did at this point. Like, what?
Yeah.
And she spoke to Vice President Kamala Harris. Yeah. How was that conversation?
I did. That was, it was great. She also offered to help, and and I actually have a recording of that because I was able to prepare for that one. The other two just came out of the blue, but so it was really great.
Well, that means a lot, and this is definitely hopeful for the people of Sarasota and Central Florida area. Is that right?
What I'm really curious though, like when we see efforts like that, right? Like I feel like you're looking at it from a 30,000 foot level. So you have the Vice President of the United States who says, I'm here to help. How does that help then trickle down to the woman who lives on Fruitville Road, who just lost her home and can't afford rent? How does it go from the White House to her?
Well, I think, it shows a commitment to make sure these recovery efforts and recovery funds for that woman who's sitting on Fruitville Road, that she gets the funds sooner rather than later.
Right.
They've started a what they call a blue roof program, where they will come out and put a blue tarp over your roof if you had roof damage until you can get that repaired. So, so they are working in the community. Plus, we have so many charitable organizations that have just stepped up, friends, neighbors. It's been heartwarming to see the community come together and really get activated and say, how can we help?
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, we definitely can't wait to see the impact. And when you think about different areas in your town, whether it's a mobile home community, low income communities, are there any extra efforts helping those folks who really, maybe they barely could have even paid for October's rent, right? And then here you have Helene and Milton, and that could have just completely depleted them entirely. What are we doing for those communities right now?
I don't have all the details right now on what is being done, but I know that there are efforts, as I said, from all, our Gulf Coast Community Foundation. We have a group called Streets of Paradise that are offering, like a place to come for a hot shower. All Faiths Food Bank is giving out food, making sure. So we're definitely working on trying to help everyone.
Well, that is definitely good to hear. Another timeline for folks who are tuning in, the storm debris pickup. So do we have any potential dates with that?
In terms of when it'll be completed, as I said, it's going to be months. We've started the effort. We have been picking up. We tried really hard to get all of it picked up before Milton hit, but it just wasn't, there was just too much. It wasn't possible. So, we're trying to, set expectations that it isn't going to be tomorrow. It truly could be months before we get everything cleaned up.
Wow. So make sure you all are being just as patient as possible. We're glad to hear that you are getting help and getting and people way above, all the way up to you having President Biden's phone number, which again, we're going to circle back to at a later time. Is there any information that you want to give out to the folks now? Like if they need any help, the disaster recovery centers, anything like that for the folks in Sarasota and down in the Sarasota County area?
Yeah, if they go to our city website, it's sarasotafl.gov. They will find information on resources. Also, the county is Sarasota County is sc.gov, I think .net. I shouldn't say that, but you can Google what
Right.
the Sarasota County,
Yeah.
and they have resources. And we're putting out all sorts of information on our social media. The Chamber of Commerce is working on helping businesses. So there is just a whole lot of effort. And then, the FEMA, I think, is disaster. I've got it
Assistance.gov.
here. Yeah, disasterassistance.gov. So,
And you have the American Red Cross.
that's one of the first place.
Yeah.
Yes, the Red Cross is here, and just a lot of. I think the World Central Kitchen is here somewhere. I saw that they said they were, but I haven't seen them, personally yet. But we got a lot of people on the ground that are helping.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Mayor Alpert, before you go, we do have a question
Yes.
from someone, Alonzo, in the community, and they want to know if they're trying to get help, particularly with FEMA. Do you know why they may be denying the applications for assistance? And if they get denied, what do you suggest they do?
I don't. I'm not an expert on FEMA, so I wish I could answer that question. But I know
Are there
there's
any
a
local
lot of
resources?
information out there. Yeah, as I said, if they go to our website,
Okay.
there'll be a list of local resources to help out, because I know there are also people, I think, that are helping with the FEMA applications
Okay.
and how to try to make sure that you don't get denied.
Yeah, that's a big one. So make sure you all head to the city's website for that. Mayor, we appreciate you. I don't know if you have any
Thank you.
insight on what's going on with Siesta Key by any chance.
I don't. We only have, in the city of Sarasota, we only have the north tip of Siesta Key, but I know they were actually a little more impacted than the two keys that we have of Lido and St. Armand.
Yeah.
So they were even worse because they were just a little south of the eye. But yeah, I wish I could tell you, because I have not been out there to take a look at that.
It's hard to, like, we can barely get our reporters over there, just because it's even hard to access. So our thoughts are with you all down in Sarasota, Sarasota County, Manatee County, just because we know you all are feeling the impacts in just a totally different way right now.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for your time, man.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely.
I was told by another mayor they didn't have time for a podcast, so I appreciate you, Mayor Alpert.
Okay.
Shade, just throwing shade, all on Rooted in Progress. And Mayor Alpert, we appreciate you. And as she mentioned, Terrence, like, she would not be able to, and I really think just a lot of our local municipalities, a lot of local cities would not be able to get through if they didn't have people like Tom G in their community.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you have these local advocates and these community advocates who come in and change the game.
Absolutely.
I know, Mayor Alpert, you just met him, but what are your thoughts when you hear someone like a Tom G and how they're coming together, using whatever resources they have while they're also enduring the storm, right? Just to give back to their community.
Right. I always, like I said, it's really heartwarming to me, and I just give them a lot of credit for, organizing these things and just being, this selflessness of figuring out how can we help the community and pulling stuff together and making it happen. So I give you a lot of credit, Tom G, for doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and it's people like you, Mayor, officials like you, and citizens like Tom G that is what will help rebuild this community, these communities.
That's for
Yes,
sure.
Absolutely.
Tom G, maybe you could ask her for President Biden's number. Maybe she'll give it to you.
Send me that number. Send it to my DM.
Mayor, we appreciate you. Have a great
absolutely.
day.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a great
All right.
day.
Thank you.
Tom G, we gotta break down everything you've been doing. My goodness, I mentioned this earlier. Like, if y'all don't follow Tom G on Instagram, go do so. But as soon as you got out there on the roads after the hurricane, you were immediately giving back to your community. This is not our community. This is Tom G's community, in case you didn't know. And I got tagged just so many times because so many people just feel like they can't even get through things without you. And so how do you carry this city and this area on your back in the way that you do?
You're right, though. It's almost like I've been giving back so long, me and my team, that we kind of like have trained the city to like when something goes on, they tagging us, like they tagging us. So before the hurricane even hit, we was already like, all right, so what we finna do? Like, we don't know how bad this finna be, but if it's manageable to where we can get boots on the ground like immediately, then what we doing? So I was already like, I'm gonna pull the truck out because I know people gonna be out of power. They're gonna be some people gonna be without water and resources. So like, I'm gonna pull up to the closest, I can get to these people in these communities, and we gonna feed them. And
what I love most about this is it's communities that are often forgotten, low income communities filled with a lot of minorities. So what have you been hearing? So you literally go, like you say, your boots on the ground.
Yeah.
What are some of the stories you're hearing from the families that have been enduring everything that's been going on?
Some people lost everything. Like, it might not look that bad to like people that may live on the outskirts or people that may live in a certain town, but like take for instance, like the Cross Fletcher area, up in the Fletcher and all that there.
Yeah.
It's people that done lost everything. Like, they have no clothes because everything got washed out with the flood. They have no power. Like, they pretty much gonna have to relocate because the flood was so bad that they're gonna have to come in and make like real like remodeling type repairs to these places where they live. So they probably gonna have to relocate. So people losing everything, man, behind it. I didn't even know it was to that magnitude. But then once I started seeing social media, because the side of town where I live, we had like a lot of high wind, and you got some debris in the road and stuff like that. But like in certain areas, they just took a hard hit. Yeah. And like the Fletcher area, I'm surprised they even got hit that hard because they don't even have water. They're not surrounded by water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where I'm from, we surrounded by water. I'm from Pond River.
Okay.
We surrounded by water, so you would think that we would have got flooded and hit harder than the Fletcher area. So like, that area is another target area for me that I'm getting ready to hit.
So Tom, my question is, you just mentioned that you guys had an action plan before this thing. Well, at the point this thing was mentioning that it was on its way.
Right.
Man, we know that inflation is hurting us all.
Right.
And for you to go out here and get this food and cook it up and give it away, man.
For the free.
For the free now.
Yeah.
Just talk about the difficulties and the challenges that you face, just even that, and the fact that you just overcome all that and say, forget all this, let's go out here and help these folks. Why do you do that, man?
I'm rooted in the progress.
But, hey, hold up. There we go. Let's go.
Yeah. Like, basically, like, I don't know, man. I'm just so dedicated to my city, man. Like, since I was a little boy, I always felt like when you watch the commercials on TV and you see like some big artist is coming to like your area near you, and they have all the cities lined up, and I always felt like Tampa was overlooked. Like, they'll go to Miami, or they'll go somewhere closer, like a 3-hour drive from us, a 4-hour drive, but they never would come here. So now we becoming this city, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it took time, but I always still had that chip on my shoulder. Like, man, I gotta represent this Tampa thing hard, because like if nobody really take the sacrifice and do it, then you know what I'm saying, we gonna forever be behind the ball. So that's why I'm so adamant about it.
That's great,
so
man.
I go broke behind it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I jump out if it's cold and I see somebody need a jacket, I take it off and turn my heat on and give them my jacket and get back in the car. You know what I'm saying? I done it before plenty of times, you feel me? Back to school, Christmas, Thanksgiving. We do it year round, so I'm kind of like, I'm knee deep in it.
Wow.
Great,
what before I even say thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people tell you thank you, but thank you
for sure.
From somebody who hasn't even benefited from your efforts. I've benefited just from watching it and the joy that it brings me.
Right.
But I could only imagine the gratitude for the people who have literally felt and been personally impacted by what you do in this community.
Right.
I could only imagine. I want to hear their stories because it speaks to not only who you are as a person, but it speaks to the impact that you're making on this community. And so when we're looking at the areas that you went to, where after Milton, where did you take your food truck?
Well, the first stop I did was in my community, which is the Pond River, Claremore, Progress Village area over in that area. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's kind of like first and foremost for me. And then we didn't have no power. So I can't go to no other side of town before I go to mine.
Period.
They're gonna be like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? So I had to straighten out my people first. So it actually started, I was, you know what I'm saying, doing that, giving out the food in my community. And then I started, people started hitting my business partner, Johnny Pito, up, and my good friend Rebecca with Soar First. They hit them up and was like, well, can Tom come over here? And I was already getting ready to do it. Wow. So it was just, you know, more assistance on the plate. You know what I'm saying? So then we went to Silver Oaks Apartments, but when I grew up, it was called Johnson and Kenneth Court. Then we ended up going to Jackson Heights Apartments, and like I say, I'm trying to get Cross Fletcher. They still kind of like flooded over there, to my understanding, but I'm on my way over there too.
When you look at these the communities that you're visiting, and you see us, our people, they're hurting. What does that do to you?
I hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because we all one. You know what I'm saying? I hurt when I see my people hurting. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody better than nobody. You know, nobody's above. You know, that can easily be me. That can easily be you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of us are exempt from that type of struggle. So when I see my people hurting, I hurt. And then whatever I can do, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It may be, some people may look at it as small. Some people may look at it as huge. But whatever that contribution is that I can do is going to get done.
Yeah. I mean, well, we heard it even from Mayor Alpert, right? Like, there are areas, there are gaps in what people need. And so while it might not be the new house, right? Or it might not be the full wardrobe that they lost, it's one less thing that they actually have to worry about. Right.
It's a relief.
Exactly. Right. It is a relief. So you're saying you got some more stuff up your sleeve. So what you working on?
I'm working, man. I'm working. Actually, man, I'm in full stride with just trying to come up with a program that, you know, this is what we do, like, because we do it anyway. So I wanna get a program started.
Like a nonprofit program, or what you thinking?
Nonprofit program to where, you know, we go out and attack these issues like full time. This is what we do. We wake up in the morning and say, all right, so what's going on now? What's on the board now? Who got problems now? Let's go do it. Let's get the funding for it. Let's go do it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Right.
So then when you do that, you...
Oh, yeah, I'm going to
come back. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Right.
You heard that right there?
I heard it, yeah.
Okay.
First and foremost.
Okay. I love to hear that. Do you think... When you hear the problems from the families in these communities, do you think they really can get help?
Yeah. Well, they saying, I don't know how.
Go ahead.
Okay.
This is a safe space.
All right, cool.
And if anybody else feel any other kind of way, I go off on them too. Don't worry about it.
Well, they saying that, you know, like you hear the rumors that FEMA don't got the money. FEMA is going broke or whatever. They don't have the money. And then you think to yourself, well, how don't y'all have the money when we funding like the wars and all that over and Ukraine and all that, but then we don't have the money to save our own people.
Right.
So who gonna save us? We got to save ourselves.
Yeah. Like you said, like
that's
we
real.
mentioned earlier, man, with you going out here doing that, that's just start. It just starts with one warm plate to a family. What type of stories have you heard or gratitude you've received since since pulling up in these neighborhoods?
Wait, before you answer that, I'm not going to read everything from this comment, but it aligns with literally what you just said. Right. His name is Tom.
Right.
And he he says, why are people still believing the lies about FEMA? There is money from FEMA available to victims. The agencies that give the money to Ukraine and migrants are totally different than the money that's allocated for FEMA. He goes on and says some other things that I think, I don't know, did you hear that the man from Tampa who called into Charlemagne?
Yeah.
And so into the Breakfast Club. And if you haven't heard it and you're listening, please go listen, because he got so emotional. Right. And I think, unfortunately, in the position that I'm in, I don't have the space to say those things, right? Out in public. But in the confines here, it's a safe space, and you bring up a really valid point.
Right.
How, when another country needs help, we there
off the top.
We got $1 billion aid package on the way. Right. And then when you have several communities, you had 3 million people without power in Florida. So that's 3 million people theoretically, right? Affected by our hurricane.
Right.
Okay. and they getting on the phone with FEMA and it's taking 5 hours. Or we're seeing these things where it's $600 million grants coming to FEMA, but then everybody's getting denials.
Yes.
Or certain phone calls aren't getting answered from people who probably would be able to help in the higher ups, but then like they getting ignored. And
Speak on it.
It just make you think.
Speak on it.
It make you think like, where are we on the totem pole as far as priorities? Like, where are we?
Well, you know where we are on the totem pole.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just
trying to like be nice.
Actions speak louder than words.
No, but that's real, and I think that's why. And I say all that to say, right? That's a larger scope, okay?
Yeah.
Because I mean, as much as we love the community, as much as you love the community, we ain't giving out no $600 million packages.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it takes people like you who have the heart to fill in the gaps wherever you can to do that little. And I wish more and more people just would do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then you don't have, hopefully, that gentleman who was down in, like, I think the Sarasota County area calling into a national broadcast like the Breakfast Club, talking about he feels helpless.
Right. Yeah.
And nobody's helping him.
What I will say though is what we learned through this one, we never really had a real direct, crazy
You're right.
Category 5 hit like that. This one was heavy, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been, or what they were saying it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And let's say in the future we have a hit like that, God forbid. But what this did was it trained our community to come together and to look out for one another. You know what I'm saying? And help your people that's right next to you, and you know, not be so much of a stranger, not to, you know, try to speak to them and show some love to them. And, you know what I'm saying? It just taught us something. I think it taught all us something. You know what I'm saying?
I know I learned my lesson from this. So,
yeah.
But again, I think what it's going to take, again, I'm going to speak on community, because Tom G is doing this out of the own kindness of his own heart and on the, you know, the dollars that are coming out of his pocket. So therefore, we always ask yourself or others, what can we do? What more can we do?
Right.
You know, if anything, is donate a case of water to Tom G's food truck, or a case of chicken wings, or whatever it is. Little things like that can help bring people together.
Correct.
A warm meal is you know, is probably the best thing that you could do right now, other than giving money, that will bring joy to a person who's without.
Right.
So how about dropping your IG, dropping your social media?
Yeah, how can people actually reach out to you?
Because I want to get this
help?
out. We're not wrapping up, folks. I just want to get this information out quickly and as often as we can before we do wrap.
Yeah, follow me on Tom G813 on Instagram. That's my main. I don't believe in like being on all different types of. I got the accounts.
Same here, bro.
Yeah, I got the accounts, but I feel like just bring my traffic all to one street. You know what I'm saying? So Tom G813 on Instagram. Let me shout some folks out too.
Okay, because that I did notice that from your posts as well. So even in your efforts for Milton, you had people helping you complete that as well. So how did that happen? Did they call you up? What how did that?
Yeah, they called me up. Like I said, my business partner Johnny Pito and my good friend Rebecca from Soar First, which is the company that we do the back to school and the Christmas giveaways and
that we'll talk about. I want to dive into that as well.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, yeah. So they pieced it together. They called them and they was like, well, who can we get? So they was like, send Tom, because you know Tom, you know. And then once they realized, oh, Tom G, our community gonna love that even more.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They already would love just somebody that they don't know to come give back to them. But if it's me, that makes it.
It's a whole nother level.
Yeah, it makes it an event. So yeah, that's how we turned up, man. Shout out to I Supplies Foundation, Standard Communities, Sean Shaw, Gary Hartfield, man, Bubba, Butte Blueprint Foundation. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If I said it right, if I did, forgive me, you know. Forgive me.
It's okay. Shout out to them anyway.
Yeah, shout out to them because
we know your heart. We know your heart.
You know my heart.
But that's amazing. I do know Gary, so that he does a lot in the community as well. He has his All Heart Foundation where he does a lot in our community. So it's good to see just community staples coming together to make this all happen.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, it does. You know, and I started out, you know, like you said, out of my pocket, just like, let's get it. And then people start seeing what's going on, and now, you know, it's growing. We in St. Pete tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Andy by Houses. We in St. Pete. We're gonna feed like 300-400 people tomorrow over there too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And guys, I know
what area?
On the south side.
Okay.
Yeah.
South St. Pete.
So I know we're mainly podcasting and everything, but we do have a video that loops during most of our show. And so whenever you get a chance, go back and watch us on Facebook, YouTube. But if you could just see the footage that we're airing right now of just the amount of plates that this man is handing out to there are long lines in these apartment.
Like
apartment
the lines
complex.
at the gas station.
Yes,
Yeah.
these are long
They in front of
lines.
Tom
And
G
man,
food truck
he has
too.
a truck full of food, handouts, giveaways, all that. That this man is doing this for free. So Tom G, shout out to you.
Wow, look at that.
I can't thank you enough. And like she said earlier about giving flowers, man, I'm gonna give you flowers again. We're not wrapping up. I just want to make sure that we have plenty of time to give you your flowers for what you're doing, because this is heartwarming. This questions me, ask me, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
So, but
No, that's
man,
real.
shout out to you and thank God for the energy and the passion that He's put on your heart to do this.
Yeah.
So this is real, man.
It's like it's a pleasure for me to be able to just like see the looks on people's faces when you giving. You know what I'm saying? I like to give.
Yeah.
I'm not a taker, I'm a giver. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And like you said earlier, it elevates it even more coming from you.
Right,
because these people are listening to you in their cars.
Right.
They're turning up to you
Yeah.
at a bar
Right.
or, at an event.
Yeah.
And then they realize, like, this is my brother.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I might not know him. I might not be on every scene. I might not be able to do the things that he does, but he shows up and this is my brother.
Right, they can identify with it. It's not like somebody that you listening to and then it's like you never see them, you never can really, you never really can rub shoulders
They
with them.
forget
and
about their
identify them.
hometowns.
Right.
You know? They go on to the
Right.
big city, big life, and
Right.
a lot of them don't look back.
Right. Yeah. And you can't do that with your people, especially, what goes up must come down. If you ever was to come down, you're going to need these same people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now it's going to be an uncomfortable situation because they can't identify with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I want to get into your Christmas and Thanksgiving, back to school. When did that start?
I think I want to say about 10 years ago.
Wow.
We started doing it about 10 years ago because we mesh it. We do our own Team Fetty Inc. We do our own giveaways. That's how it started. And then we also would go to the radio station 94.1.
Okay.
My guy Orlando over there, that's my good friend.
Yeah.
We always do we take a big truckload of toys over there and give it back to the toy giveaway. And
Wow.
then we meshed with Soar First, and now we go crazy every year.
Yeah. You did the big backpack giveaway. I saw it at the Skill Center last 2 years.
I still got backpacks in my truck now. Well, we couldn't give away enough. Well, it was,
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was.
So now what do you do? If you see a kid, you just give them a backpack?
Because it's mid-year now, so they need them again. I just give them out. You know what I'm saying? Well, that backpack looking dusty, but here you go.
And they need that. What feedback do you hear, if you ever do, just from even the kids that you impact?
Yeah, they always show love, man. I don't look for it, but like a lot of times people they'll remind me of stuff I did years ago I don't even remember doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they be like, man, you don't remember when you did this and that. I don't do it for that, so I don't lock it in my mind. But they show love, and it holds weight with the people for real. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I go in my closet and like my mama call it, and I got call it too, like making room for new blessings. Like I have so many clothes I ain't worn. Like how you look in your closet and your drawers and stuff and say, man, I ain't wearing this stuff. It's just taking up room. I just put it in bags and go down there and give it to the homeless people and stuff, or just give it to a kid that's doing good in school. Like if they can show me their report card and they got good grades, I'm gonna give you a bag of the good stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then they walk up in school like, this is
Yeah.
what you got on.
Come on, there, boy. Where you get them clothes from?
Yeah.
And that just gives a different type of energy and confidence.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about kids. Well, I am so happy to just hear the stories and hear the impact that you've been making at this point for decades.
Yeah, he is.
Not to age you.
Yeah, and I'm just happy.
It's okay. Our security guard thought you were in your late 20s. So praise God.
Hey, shout out to him.
Shout out to the security guard.
Well, I'm happy that the fact that you're here in person telling your story for those that aren't familiar with Tom G or don't know Tom G, man, this is who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just met him 42 minutes ago, however long we've been on air, man, and I can feel the love in this room is just amazing. So shout out to Tom G. Tom G, drop your IG handle again. It's right there.
TOMG 813.
There it is.
Yeah.
Now, I would be remiss in the lack of journalists in me if I didn't ask what's going on with music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got a new project out right now called Scroll Music 11. Yeah, I just dropped it. I want to say I dropped it in September. Yes, Labor Day weekend. I think I dropped it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's doing real good. And I got so much music. I'm gonna just start rapid firing music. I'm gonna drop it all the way to this time next year. Just dropping.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do we have any performances scheduled?
Yeah, we're gonna we due to the hurricane, it kind of pushed us back with our Thanksgiving date. We do our big Thanksgiving show every year. So yeah, we waiting on that. We trying to organize that. The hurricanes kind of pushed us back, but we got a big Thanksgiving show coming.
So you have a Thanksgiving show that's going to be here
in Tampa.
Yeah. Okay, but we don't have a date yet.
Yeah, but everybody they just waiting on a date. They know about it. Like every year we do it. Every year. Yeah.
So we going, Terrence?
Yeah, let's we going.
Yeah, y'all pull up, man.
Okay.
Well, so I don't know about the date. So you just said everybody know about the date.
No, everybody knows about
the time
frame.
The time frame. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
it's
as
soon as you get that date, you got to let us know.
Yeah.
It's always Thanksgiving. I'm sure my sister has been. She's a huge fan.
She know about Kush giving.
Oh, I'm sure. I love that. Okay, so you have a project. It just released September. You're gonna continue to release some music as well.
Yeah, all through. Actually, I'm gonna drop a New Year's Eve. I'm gonna drop a new album, and then that's gonna bring the new year in, and then I'm gonna keep dropping like every quarter, all the way around the whole 2025.
Now you're also an author.
Yes.
Tell the folks about your book, where they can get it.
You can go to teamfetti.com, teamfetti.com, and order my book. It's called Process and Purpose. The book is basically about my journey from the beginning, from like childhood days all the way to now, and all in between, from the music stuff, the sports stuff, whatever it is you want to know about Tom G. It's kind of like summing everything up and telling you some good stories too.
Yeah. What area did you grow up in here in
the
Tampa?
Palm River, like Southeast Tampa.
Still in Palm River.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Good for you. So literally
rooted.
Literally.
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are so proud of you. Again, we appreciate you coming in, joining us. If you have anything going on, make sure you tell us.
I'm gonna stop by, man. I like the vibe. I like the room.
It is a vibe.
I like the ambiance.
Yes. All the folks tuning in. I know we focus on Sarasota. Shout out to again Mayor Alpert, who joined us earlier in our show. And if you're joining us live, make sure you go back. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. You can stream and rewatch. But we want to make sure we provide the resources for people who are in the Pinellas County area, food assistance, Feeding Tampa Bay, St. Pete Free Clinic, Reach St. Pete, or SNAP. Now, don't come over here telling me all the issues with SNAP. I understand. I get it. I understand. So, again, those are just some resources if you need food immediately. Again, Tom G, his food truck is actually going to be in South St. Pete tomorrow as well. FEMA, we're not going to go over that again either. If you need FEMA, it's disasterassistance.gov. Terrence, you took away the rest of the full screen, so I didn't know the other two. SBA loan. If you have a business and you need an SBA loan, it's lending.sba.gov. There are several disaster recovery centers. We actually have all of that information on WFLA.com. Free gas is still available, y'all. There are several sites across the area. You can go to our website as well, WFLA.com. I also know it's on the state of Florida's government website, but I know them lines.
And speaking of free gas, don't just bombard these gas stations, guys. There's plenty of gas still getting delivered. That's being delivered.
It's
absolutely
getting back to normal.
I see them being escorted with the police. But some gas
stations, it's like hit or miss. Like it's like you could come, but they only have like the regular gas, and so I'm grateful, but that was the first time I put regular gas in my car, and then my car only takes premium, so I'm kind of
Oh,
scared.
well, you was playing.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Did it? It was okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not
okay
gonna
for
hurt.
now.
Yeah,
it's good now. You just can't make it at the long term thing.
Yeah, you can't keep
I'm
doing
gonna make it for now, but those are like the small things we still dealing with right now. So don't go over there talking about gas is available everywhere. It's not.
it's getting better.
It is getting better. It is getting better. We are all getting better, y'all. We're all blessed. Again, Tom G, we appreciate you stepping in and Rooted in Progress Stream Center.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
All of our folks tuning in, we're back here, and we're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. You can join us live on the WFLA Facebook page or on the WFLA app. And then, of course, we stream and put our episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. If you've tuned in now, like live, and you know someone needs this information, make sure you send them the link. Make sure you send them and tell them to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast, because a lot of good information was put out today.
Absolutely, yes. And this is, even though we were laughing through most of this, man, you have to laugh to keep from crying. So this is a very, very serious issue for us all. We really take it near and dear to our own hearts. We may not have been affected personally, but we know that there's people out there who lost everything. And so our hearts and prayers go out to each and every one of you. So take advantage of that information that we shared, and we thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rooted in Progress.
Like Tom G, stay rooted.
Stay rooted, folks.
Baby.
Thank you guys so much.